Hello, Hashima. This video is for Tuesday, May 11th. This is the second half of chapter 4 of Esperanza Rising, Los Hijos and Higos. Sorry, not hijos, higos. And which means figs in Spanish. The first half of chapter 4 we read yesterday, Monday, and it was about Esperanza's family's decision to leave Mexico because one of the uncles wants to marry Mama and she's refusing. And if she does that, they're going to make her life in Mexico miserable. Well, it would maybe be miserable both ways. If she married him, it would be miserable. And if she didn't marry him, it would be miserable. So they've made this decision to leave so that they can hopefully start a new life or have start over. So in today's reading, we're going to be inferring the meaning of words and phrases to think about how characters feel. So putting yourself sort of in Esperanza's position, thinking about how you might feel. Obviously, it would be a really intense time. And if you had to get up and leave everything behind you, what that would feel like. So good readers can make inferences about the meaning of words and phrases to help us understand the character's feelings and empathize with them. So figurative language, things like similes and metaphors, help us form a connection with the character and also helps us form an image of an idea, event, or a feeling. So when we're reading today, we might want to ask ourselves, what words does the author or narrator use to describe the character's feelings? What can we infer? And what other details support our thinking? So I'm going to read the first couple pages with you as a model, and we'll talk a little bit about it and think about the first question that's on your Google Forms. So I'm going to read. You can follow along on my screen or in your book. I'm just going to read 50 and 51, and then we'll stop at the bottom. The next day, Abuelita's sisters came for her in a wagon. The nuns, dressed in their black and white habits, gently lifted Abuelita into the back. They pulled a blanket under her chin, and Esperanza went to her and held her hand. She remembered the night that Alfonso and Miguel brought Papa home in the wagon. How long ago was that? She knew it had only been a few weeks, but it seemed like many lifetimes ago. Esperanza tenderly hugged and kissed Abuelita. Mi nieta, we won't be able to communicate. The mail is unpredictable, and I'm sure your uncles will be watching my correspondence. But I will come, of that you can be certain. While you're waiting, finish this for me. She handed Esperanza the bundle of crocheting. Look at the zigzag of the blanket. Mountains and valleys. Right now you're in the bottom of the valley, and their problems loom big around you, but soon you'll be at the top of the mountain again. After you've lived many mountains and valleys, we will be together. Through her tears, Esperanza said, please get well, please come to us. I promise, and you promise to take care of Mama for me. Next it was Mama's turn. Esperanza could not watch. She buried her head in Hortensia's shoulder until she heard the wagon pulling away. Then she went to Mama and put her arms around her. They watched the wagon disappear down the path until it was a speck in the distance, until even the dust was gone. That's when Esperanza noticed the old trunk with the leather straps that the nuns had left. What's in the trunk? She asked. Our papers to travel, and clothes from the poor box at the convent. The poor box? People donate them, said Mama, for others who cannot afford to buy their own. Mama, at a time like this, must we worry about some poor family who needs clothes? Esperanza, said Mama, we have little money, and Hortensia, Alfonso, and Miguel are no longer our servants. We're indebted to them for our finances and our future. And that trunk of clothes for the poor, Esperanza, it is for us. I'm going to pause there. So thinking about what Abuelita tells Esperanza on these pages about life being like a series of mountains and valleys. And if you notice, I was doing this hand motion while I was reading because mountains are really high peaks and valleys are really low. So thinking about what she means by this metaphor, and again, this is your first question on Google Forms, thinking about that where you have some times in your life where you feel like you're at the top. You're accomplishing things, you're feeling good, you're feeling wonderful. And then other times in your life where you're in a valley, where you're feeling like you're doing bad. So thinking about how that can be a metaphor for life, that some parts of life are really good and other parts of life are really bad. So thinking about Esperanza's experience, right before her father died, it would seem like she was in a mountain, right? Where she was about to have her birthday. She was having a great relationship with her family members. She was dreaming of her quinceañera and her friends. And now she's definitely in a valley, thinking about all the tragic things that have happened to her, like her father being killed, the farm burning, or her land burnt, and her home burning down, the situation with her uncle. So Abuelita is trying to remind her that life is like a series of mountains and valleys, good things and bad things. So we'll talk about this a little bit more on Zoom. You're going to go ahead and finish up the rest of chapter 4 and answer the questions, and we will talk just a bit later. Have a great day.